Hey, it's Friday night. Welcome to the Frenzy with JT.
Coming to you live with all the sports action from around the UP. Welcome to Friday Night Frenzy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Frenzy, presented once again by the Venice Pub and Pizzeria of Ishpeming. My thanks to Mike Hoey for filling in for me last week. My thanks to the Westwood cheerleaders for that little intro as well. Well, we begin the Frenzy this week on the Gridiron, just a couple of miles down the road from our studios. Ishpeming and Westwood entered tonight's game a combined 6-0 this season. Did the Hematites leave town with a win, or did Westwood pick up a statement victory? Let's find out. It was standing room only at Westwood High School, where the Patriots and Hematites took the field. First quarter, Ishpeming strikes first. Ozzy Corp fakes the run, throws to a dart to cool hand Luke Coolyu. That's on the money. A 43-yard touchdown put the Hematites up 6-0. After another Westwood punt, Ishpeming goes right down the field once again. Corp keeps it, and he finds the end zone from 8 yards out. 14-0 Hematites after the 2-point conversion. Ishpeming did everything going their way until, that right there, the snap goes between Corp and Ozzy Hakkarainen. The ball would eventually be covered up at the Hematites 3-yard line by Nick Briones, and the Pats were in business. After a penalty backed Westwood up 5 yards, Trevor Burke rolls right, throws back over the middle. Luke Gray goes up and he brings it down. Westwood scored on the 2-point conversion to make it 14-8 after 1. We jump ahead to the second. Ishpeming leading 22-8 and backed up at their own 10-yard line, but that was not a problem. Nate Meyer, welcome to the Frenzy, my man. 90 yards to the house. Ishpeming rolls to the 38-14 win over rival Westwood. To the scoreboards, Iron Mountain at home inside those yellow walls stopped Negaunee late in the fourth quarter for a 20-17 victory. Norway, after a tough loss at home last week to Forest Park, they rebound in a big way with a 34-14 win at Manistee. Back to the highlights. It was a packed house as well in Marquette as the Redmen battled Escanaba. First quarter, the Eskimos quarterback Logan Lamb scores on the keeper from 3 yards out, 8-0 Eskimos. Later, Lamb's pass would be picked off. Trevor Koski, hey mom, look what I got. Koski with the INT and the TD, 55 yards in all, pulled the Redmen back to within 1. Escanaba racked up more than 200 yards in the game on the ground. Sean Bissell carries it inside the Redmen 5-yard line, but he coughs up the ball and Connor Brazo falls on it for the Redmen. That would be a costly turnover because the Redmen turn it into 7 points. Brett Place sneaks it in for the TD. Marquette led 21-8 at the half, and Escanaba made things very interesting, but the Redmen by 2 points held on for the 24-22 victory, their first W over Escanaba since 2010. In Menominee, the Maroons are now 4-0 after a 49-6 victory over Gladstone, handing the Braves their first loss of the season. Gladstone now 3-1. They are at home next week against Marquette. Let's head up to the Copper Country, shall we, to Houghton, where the Gremlins welcomed Calumet to town. First quarter, the Copper Kings at the Gremlins' 44-yard line. Robert Urkla takes the pitch to the near side from Tyler Lucas. Urkla gets a couple of great blocks, and there's just green grass from there on out. 44-yard scamper by Urkla, 8-0 Calumet. Late in the first, Houghton rolls the dice on fourth down. Ben Killar scrambles to his right, throws it downfield, right into the arms of Evan Billick, who plays for Calumet and gets the interception. We head now to the second quarter. The Copper Kings again on the move. Urkla gets the ball again, but this time Killar hauls him down right there in the backfield. After a Calumet punt, Houghton looking for any kind of momentum going into the half. Killar, though, be brought down by Ben Escala. Houghton, 4 turnovers in the game. Calumet did not have a single turnover. The Copper Kings win it 22-0. Back to the scoreboards. West Iron County is now 4-0 to start the season after the Wycons defeated Ironwood tonight at home 47-14. North Central pitched a shutout at Baraga 53-0. And at Lance, Brandon Keppinen had 11 carries for $140 and 2 touchdowns as the Purple Hornets sting the Hancock Bulldogs 38-14. Back to the highlights. Every year, Newberry and Munising battle for the X. First quarter, Munising's drive stalls in the red zone, but Andy Cooper comes through in a field goal from about 30 yards out. 3-0 in favor of the Stangs. To the second, Munising quarterback Austin Kelto will play his first game of the season tonight after sustaining a hernia injury. Decides to fake the pitch and keep the ball, and that was a very wise decision by Mr. Kelto. 45 yards to the house, 10-0 Munising. Late in the first half, the Indians punt the ball. Alex Hill picks it up at his own 10-yard line, makes a couple of moves, finds a seam to his right, and Alex is G-O-N-E, gone. 90 yards on the return, but however, Houston, or Munising in this case, we have a problem. A little dirty laundry there in the field. Block of the back penalty called back the play. Too bad though. Munising though in the second half open up the game and they win big 38-12 and they win the X as well. This score just thankfully came in time down there in Stevenson. It was North Dickinson winning over the Eagles 34-16. In 8-man football, Rapid River made very easy work of Brindley, 16-0 the final there. The Rockets scored 26 points in just 3 minutes of action in the first quarter. High-powered offense. Up next, we head to Harris, where Bark River played at home against Gwynn. First quarter, the home team with the ball. Jordan Sodergren on the play-action fake, rolls left, airs it out, where A.J. Emmons was there for the 42-yard touchdown, 6-0 Broncos. Still in the first, more offense from Bark River. Jacob Greenfield takes the handoff on the jet sweep to the far side of the field. And yes, he's in for another Broncos touchdown, 14-0 BRH. Gwynn had absolutely no momentum whatsoever, but they would get a little bit on the ensuing kickoff. Michael Rector fields the kick from around his own 5-yard line, starts up the far sideline, and Michael had daylight and then some in front of him. We speed up the play, 95 yards in all. Gwynn cut into the deficit, now trailing the Broncos 14-8. After that, though, the home team poured it on. Alex Mathias went untouched up the gut there for 6. Bark River Harris takes care of business, 58-16 tonight over Gwynn. We have reached halftime in this edition of the Frenzy. There's still plenty more to get to. Up next, we check in on the Tigers and Royals out in KC and get you set for the Lions and Packers game on Sunday. That's next on the Frenzy right here on ABC 10. Welcome back to the Frenzy, once again presented by the Venice Pub and Pizzeria of Ishpeming. My thanks to Beth and Daryl once again for coming on as the main sponsor of this show. Well, the baseball season is less than 2 weeks away from postseason play. The Tigers entered the day with just a half-game lead over Kansas City for first place in the American League Central Division. Detroit was all over the Royals tonight. This one just went final about a minute and a half ago. My thanks to Ken Baynard for getting that final score in just in time. 10-1 Tigers, your winner tonight. Ian Kinsler hit a 2-run shot in the 5th to put the Tigers up 10-0 at that point of the game. Justin Verlander looked sensational tonight, like his old self, going 7 1/3 innings to get the victory. Detroit and KC play again tomorrow at 1 p.m. In Pittsburgh, the Brewers lost 4-2 to the Pirates. Milwaukee's playoff chances continue to dwindle down the stretch. In college volleyball this evening, NMU won in straight sets at Lake Erie College. Madison Whitehead led the Cats with 10 kills. Kayla Choza had 9. Alex Berger had 15 digs to lead NMU. The Cats play at Ashland tomorrow. Speaking of Ashland, Michigan Tech lost to the Eagles in straight sets 3-0. Aubrey Havlicek had 8 kills to lead the Huskies. In that department, Ellie Heinonen had 15 digs in the match for Tech. Don't forget tomorrow in college football, it's homecoming at Michigan Tech as they host Saginaw Valley State. I'll be up there, while NMU is at Hillsdale. Michigan State hosts Eastern Michigan, and the Wolverines face Utah at the Big House. The fishing tournament continues in Delta County, and yes, that Lions-Packers matchup is again on tap for Sunday. I have 4 words for you people. Forward, down the field. Jimmy Kimmel is next. Have a great weekend, everybody.